Why, hello there. So we are going to be watching some videos. I want to understand the flat Earth perspective, especially since, I'm debating somebody about it quite soon. And I never think it's a really good idea to come into a debate without understanding the other side, which I quite often do, but that doesn't mean I think it's a good idea. I'm not trying to platform like harmful ideas. Honestly, with all the different conspiracies that there are, I think flat earthers are, you know, not that scary. Um, yeah, they're harmless. It's just stupid. But I'm okay with harmless and stupid. So obviously, we're gonna start off with the most typical thing, a Jubilee video. Yep, you can call me PewDiePie because I eat Swedish food sometimes. I don't know. So, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and look at it. I'm also gonna be like writing up a paper at the same time. I don't expect that this is gonna take that much brain power, so that's why I'm okay with multitasking on this one. Obviously, I will still be stopping and starting because I do want to go ahead and, you know, just kind of reiterate that some of these things are going to be really stupid. But hey, look, at least let's go ahead and see what is it all about so that Friday night, also, I guess we can call it Saturday morning, essentially around this time in 2 days, I'm going to be having a debate with a flat earther. So let's watch these things so we can come in and say, no, 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 I've already heard this, debunked. I don't want to my arguments are not going to be picture based on Friday night. My arguments are going to be very scientific based. So I don't think there's going to be much of a conversation, but at least we can say, hey, I went out the way and I tried to meet the person halfway. And yeah, I also don't think anybody really changes their mind by me coming into the debate just saying, yeah, you're dumb as fuck. Though, of course, I would love to say that. It's really good to make sure that, you know, I tried to understand the perspective. I didn't agree with it. It wasn't good, but I tried. Also, exactly. Dude, oh my god, I fucked my own self up. Oopsies, I did not mean to click there. I'm trying out my new Vosh strategy, this new rhetoric that I just tried out. Yeah, so let's go ahead, start off with this Jubilee video. Let's just see really quickly, what am I writing my paper on before... No, stop it! Also, at some point in me watching the video, I will get up. We will have a temporary chair stream. I'm boiling water for tea. I definitely need to bring the tea to the argument. So, so many jokes. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the screen where you can see the video. Oh, look. It's right there. Your girl came prepared, okay? Honestly, I really want to watch the Netflix documentary with you guys about flat earthers. I've been told that there's a lot of arguments that they have in that video. But someone would definitely need to go ahead and check for me to see if that would get copyright claimed. If it doesn't, I'll do it. If it does, then I won't be able to watch it. Okay, so I'm going to get it started. I know a lot of it's just introductions at the beginning. So I'll go ahead and let you guys start hearing, and then I will definitely come in and be like, oh, that person's really unqualified. But I'm just going to go get my tea and stuff.
Before we jump in, we've got a huge announcement. A lot of folks have been asking for this for years. We're finally giving you the first ever Jubilee
sphere. If you think that is the shape of the Earth, point to it now. If you think the other model is the shape of the Earth, point to it now.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
What do you think the shape of the Earth is?
I don't think. I know for a fact it's a globe.
The Earth is flat.
It's like we have this picture of reality that's a big puzzle piece,
and then one of those pieces just wasn't fitting.
I'm always open to having a discussion with someone who is holding a wrong belief like this.
Are you willing to change your mind on this?
I'm not. The evidence is so much.
Nobody wants to be a flat earther, but if you showed me incontrovertible evidence, I would definitely go back. Who wants the ridicule?
What are you hoping to get from the discussion with the other side?
I'd like to tear them to pieces.
I'm Jim Underdown, Executive Director of the Center for Inquiry West in Los Angeles and the chair of the CFI Investigations Group.
I'm Spencer Marks, one of the senior members of the CFI Investigations Group, Science Advocate.
I'm Ali Nayeri. I'm a theoretical physicist, and I'm with the University of Irvine.
I'm Wendell Walton. I'm a Chief Learning Officer for a young startup.
I'm Shelley Lewis. I'm a graduate of West Point, critical thinker, and jumped out of airplanes.
My name is Dan Glattman. I work as Dan the Waterman in the drinking water filtration industry, and I'm a truth seeker.
I get my flat earthers on the left and my globe earthers on the right. Only step forward if this is true for you. I believe the earth was created by a higher power.
Well, I've been a Christian for 30 years, so the Bible is a flat earth book. You have to take it literally. Like, for example, in Isaiah, when it talks about how the earth is like a clay wax seal that's stamped with upturned edges, that's just not some fancy story. That's a simile. It is like.
Right, absolutely. And in Isaiah it talks about too, and I'm a Christian, he who sits upon the circle of the earth. There's a difference between this.
Okay, first of all, even if I were to go ahead and have a creationism perspective, that's not the way that literary, like these terms of speeches, when it says, I know it's hard to listen to. I know it's definitely going to be quite nonsensical. But yeah, this first argument is, honestly, her face just has flat earther energy. I can't even. Okay, so the earth is like something. If he's able to recognize that that's a simile, he should also recognize that similes are not made to be taken literally. Like if I said her face is like the moon. Well, it's a simile, so it means that her face must be the moon. Okay, like that's absolutely nonsensical, but it's cool. I didn't come here expecting to hear a lot of like really good points. So we're right on par with what I was expecting, but yeah, let's get it. Continue on, I guess.
Circle and a ball.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
If you look at the original Hebrew, it means disc. There's over 200 scriptures in the Bible that point to a flat earth.
So this notion that you need God or some higher power to create the earth or the universe is very old and was initially posited by people of a pre-scientific age. Since then, we have learned quite a bit about the universe coming into existence, when that happened. Modern humans.
So I think luckily for me, the person that I'm going to be debating, I don't think is coming at it with a very religious perspective. And honestly, if they are, I'm going to tell them like we're going to have to use different arguments because I'm not going to try to argue with somebody about creationism. Like it's not going to make sense. There's nothing I can say that would change their mind. Obviously, I do not expect to change any minds in the debate, but yeah, I just want to make that part noted. Oh, also, I need to find my phone, so I'm still going to get up just one more time, but you'll see me walking around looking for it.
Just don't get their cosmology, they don't get their physics, they don't get their knowledge of the universe from the Bible or any ancient text.
It's sort of like the God of the gaps. Once, people used to believe that lightning was God's wrath and throwing these lightning bolts, but once we understood it was a natural process, God shrank a little bit more because now we couldn't attribute those lightning bolts to God. We had to attribute that to the real science. The other thing, the point about the Bible specifically for me is, why is that one particular text the correct one? You choose to believe that, and that's fine, but there's so many other writings and so many other books, so why weren't they correct? Why is just the Bible correct?
Well, what you'll find in a lot of these ancient religions is they're all flat earth religions. All their cosmology goes back to being a flat earth with an enclosed system. So it's not just the Bible that teaches this. It's many different religious books.
So one problem I have is to trying to explain phenomena happening in nature by holy books. Those are religious books. Those are not books of science. And it is wrong to infer or deduct
Okay, my phone was literally right next to me, so I guess I'm already coming into this with flat earth perspective in my head, but touche. Let's continue.
scientific readings out of those books.
My name is Wendell. I am a logical, biblically based, and scientific flat earther. I didn't start out, and no one starts out as a flat earther, but I had a lot of questions. So I actually got to the point where I had to go out and put my own eyeballs on it. So we went out to an observation at Salton Sea, and things just didn't add up down there. So we've gone back probably a dozen times, and I can guarantee you that there is no curvature over distance.
The internet has played an important role in confirming what we
That's not one.
Well, we have the advantage of information today that's outside of channels 2, 4, and 7, and the few networks that are corporately owned. It's pretty easy to say YouTube isn't research, but when you spend an...
Is that a thing? Is that the, huh? Bones, please. Oh, okay. If it is a thing, 100%, please send that over. Also, he's definitely your coworker. Actually, at every flat earth, there's the same 3 people, and they got all of them here. So the debate I'm having on Friday, 100% with one of the people that you guys already know.
enough time, you're picking up quite a bit, and with the discussion groups, panels, we've...
Wait, questions. Actually, no. I was going to ask questions about the ice ball theory. No. I'm not going to ask questions on that. I'm not even going to justify it. Let's continue.
On against opposition, we've opposed ourselves. Surprisingly enough, flat Earth is its own worst enemy. So it's not that easy for us to come to consensus, and we find that consensus is orchestrated and not actually scientific in any way.
You know, my grandfather used to tell me growing up, never believe anything you read in the newspaper, right? He told that to me. Now, with the age of the internet, it's like, you know, how much of this misinformation are you getting there? And when you have like eyewitnesses taking video or something, you do have
Just
to take everything. with
fucking
That's why, because of my
conspiracyception,
my
I'm
background,
here for it.
I knew that all that stuff could be fake. You know, take it into Photoshop, take it into After Effects.
I mean, there is always I don't know. Like, is the fact that rockets exist a good refutation to flat Earth theory? I mean, I mean, of course, it's possible for someone to say, "Oh, the rockets that exist are not real." I just spilled coffee. Sorry, I'm very smart today. I'm gonna clean that up in a second. But yeah, I know some people. Yeah, exactly. That NASA's a conspiracy. But yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna come in. No, I'm a physicist. I am officially a physicist. My argument is going to be science-based. I'm not going to have photo conversations. I'm not going to have a religious conversation. If he's not able to keep up with me on the science part, then perhaps he shouldn't be fucking trying to have an argument with a physicist. I'm not going to have a rhetoric conversation. I'm not going to have a historical conversation. My place of expertise is science. So if he cannot understand science, then he chose the wrong person, boo-boo. Boo-boo, I got equations. Boo-boo, I got numbers. Boo-boo, I got figures. Like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm sorry. Oh, also, I'm getting a paper towel because I just spilled, like, tea all over my Kindle. Why do I have a Kindle during a stream? I don't know. 1 second while I grab that. And, no, we're not that far into this video, so feline, stay tuned. Okay, 1 sec.
Okay, this is at the core of the issue of why there are so many flat earth believers out there right now. The problem is the information from someone who decides to start a website or produce a YouTube video is not reliable. When I have a toothache, I go to a dentist. When my car breaks down, I go to a mechanic. When you have questions about cosmology, you should go to an astrophysicist. You should go to a physicist. You should go to people who have spent years and years studying these ideas, not some 6-minute YouTube video. There is a percentage of people that if they saw a YouTube video that was not within their scientific chops to refute on the face of it, would believe anything out there.
One of the things I will say is NASA.gov has their own documents out there that we get to vet, which is through the Freedom of Information Act. And would you agree that NASA documents, if they're on display, that we should be able to go and research inside there?
NASA is not proving that the Earth is flat.
Well, they say it in 14 of the
You
documents.
should read what NASA says, and you should listen to what NASA
I
says.
would love to see your NASA evidence that the Earth is
It's
flat.
only their contradictory issues
Okay,
that
let's
bring
see.
us here.
We're all familiar with the Earthrise photo, right? The Earth is rising over the moon. We're all familiar with it.
Okay, so I'm definitely very curious to see what NASA stuff that they have proving this. But honestly, I have no interest. I have no interest in trying to look into more things on this topic than I need to. Personally, I like to keep my frustration levels as low as possible. So basically, very luckily for me, my man, the person I'm debating, made the erroneous act of posting all of his arguments already inside of a Discord channel. So I'm just gonna go see what does he have to say. And then we're actually gonna read through that and we're gonna refute it. But not subjectively, but like not using that much science. I really want to save the science stuff for an actual debate. I'm about to ruin this man's whole career. So, you know, I need to make sure I keep some of the tea and stuff for myself. So we're going to look at that in a bit and maybe see if we can find more things on his position. But let's just continue on with this.
That's NASA. You can go out to the NASA site. You can download the original, right?
I already know what you're going to ask.
So you bring up the luminance on it, and you can see where it's cut out and pasted there.
They're showing us doctored images that are clearly doctored. The blue marble is a very famous image from 1972. When you talk to the art,
Oh, of course. I literally explain science to children, so yeah, like I don't see what the difference is going to be. If I have to explain physics to kids in Haiti that have never done physics before, bro, I'm set. I don't expect much more of a skill level than that.
artist from NASA, his name is Robert Simmons. He talks about exactly how it was created from data, and it's not a photograph whatsoever. He added
what?
clouds.
Let me explain.
He added
Hold
a
on.
highlight of the
If
sun.
you take, you know, on your phone, most phones,
Oh, I'm aware, but you know, like I'm kind of expecting that this is like the equivalent of speaking to my goddaughter. My goddaughter's turning 5 in like 6 months, so yeah, I'll just kind of go from that. Like, how do I try to explain to her? I'm the worst godmother ever. For her like different birthdays and stuff, I just get her like quantum physics for babies, classical mechanics for babies, cosmology for babies. So I'm just probably gonna read through that and see what do they have to say.
To have that panoramic image, when you do that, you're taking a series of pictures, and the phone cleverly stitches that together.
How it's
Hold on.
presented.
Oh shit, you're right. We do say 4 corners. Actually, guys, I'm done here. Fucking flat Earth confirmed.
It's presented as a real
So when
photograph.
NASA takes real photos and they either clean them up for color or they stitch
That was
them
fucking
together
easy.
in
I just got wrecked.
doesn't mean they're CGI.
You're talking about composites. I'm what you call a globe denier. You could even get me into a virtual construct if I can't find the borders myself. It appears to me to be a stationary plane, as opposed to the vastness of infinity of space. I would find it to be an ice plane where we have a localized sun and our environment.
Ice plane.
You know, these particular people have misled us on television. This is a brilliant opportunity to speak. We've been suppressed.
You're
censored
right.
by mainstream media. Alternative media is just a thing of beauty for me.
Oh, so many good points being made right now.
I'm running.
They think they are
I'm
uneducated.
running for this.
Well, they certainly think they're educated.
And they're following quite a bit of, you know, the university system, what we call scientism.
Right, scientism.
Obviously is the belief in what's written.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be, so low. Okay. Lord. Yeah, it's very entertaining to know that, somebody might come into the argument on Friday and tell me that I'm uneducated. Like, I think that's really cool. I think that's really fun, and I think that's really cute. Actually, I should probably look into how they think the sun works with the flat Earth, because I'm not just I want to know some of the arguments ahead of time. You know, I don't want to find out like on the spot. Like I have a really hard time stopping myself from giggling into like non-existence, so I should probably like hear it before I get there so that I don't laugh. Yeah, I'm pretty infamous for actually, like, giggling into the sunset, so I'm sorry. I know I don't know the YouTube channel, but if they have any flat Earth videos, send it over so that we can
tend to be
watch.
exploring in the field with physical properties, not theories of any kind. We're using actual measurements that are calculated not by our guidelines, but the guidelines of science as we know it. I can only hope they're uneducated as opposed to disingenuous.
Well, that's the other thing too, because we know that it was on a large scale, the government has been disingenuous, and they're pushing a narrative, right? So it's hard.
Professor, dude, okay, I'm gonna check this video, but Professor Dave as a human is really without use. Okay, yeah, I'll use this myself, but we're not gonna watch it because I don't want the person to watch my stream and be able to come in with their own refutations. So 100% I'm only gonna be watching flat Earth videos, and I'm gonna be watching videos and stuff to get my equations ready. Yeah, let's continue.
For us, I mean, I'm sure that you've met people too. It's like, look, are you haven't looked into it yet, or are you a shill? Are you part of a disinformation campaign?
I don't think you guys are uneducated.
Oh, they have their own terminology and everything. That's so cute. Wow. Okay. So cute. Ooh. Okay, let's go.
I think you're wrongly educated.
I think the problem with
Fucking
what I've
globies. I
seen
love
in
that.
the flat Earth crowd is that it's not that they're undereducated, but they, instead of looking at evidence and letting the evidence guide to where the ultimate conclusion is, they start with a conclusion and then they try to cherry pick evidence.
Honestly, I think that's honestly a problem with most people. I think all of us come into things with our own conclusions. Which is really kind of annoying because we have so many like debate bros that come in with like such a strong conviction about things, even though they're like empirically wrong. I'm not sure if anyone was here for it, and I wouldn't advise you to go back and watch because it was just like really frustrating. But I was having an argument with what I think was a 17-year-old on Tom's panel, and he was just like really giving all these arguments about like how we shouldn't legalize all drugs because, you know, there's going to be needles all over my neighborhood and like the kids and all that stuff. And he really thought he was debate broing, and I was like, like, that's really cute. It was really nice that you decided to like go ahead and, you know, come in here like all scared about stuff. Yeah, like none of what you're saying is actually based off of anything besides fear-mongering. I do not know, but I also, it sounds like something that he would say. He's a real gem. I love him. He's great. It's like Tiger something. It's just, wow. Oh yeah, exactly. You could go ahead and check. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you probably saw it. And it was just me being like, fucking, like, Sammy classic Sonic fan, just fucking screaming into the abyss. It was great.
To support their pre-drawn conclusion, they cast away all the
No, not cut sleeve, but I don't like that kid either.
bits of evidence that actually is contrary to their beliefs.
If there was like Tiger, I'll fucking check, but yeah, cut sleeves also a piece of work, amazing. Yeah.
I think that you're very well educated as well as you are, Jim. But,
Certainly Ali is. He's probably got the best education of
yeah,
all of us.
Exactly, and he paid for it too. But more and more professionals are coming on board. They're starting to question their reality. So the thing of it is once you start to really
I'll find it, don't worry.
take a hard look at the evidence, and you are unafraid of just standing for the truth wherever that may lead you, then people end up becoming flat earthers.
It's really cute to be, like, I guess it's better than, like, smoking crack in a park, but it's just, like, really cute that, like, all these, like, teenagers are, like, coming in trying to be debate bros, and I'm like, this is really, like, woo guys, but, you guys are, like, not really, like, qualified to, like, actually speak to me about kind of anything, but, like, yeah, go off, sis. Also, give me just 1 second. I'll have his name in, like, a second. It's, hold on, I have it right here. Zoom in. I'm getting, Tiger Fells. Is it Tiger? Yeah, Tiger Fells. I don't know. Big Mad. That's all I remember. I was Malden. That's his name is making Katarana Mald.
I'm hoping to be able to tell our side of the story from the inside out. So many times, flat earthers are depicted from the outside in, and
Okay, as a student politicians are not good debaters. They just think that they are. Like, you sit there and you're like, wow, that was the cutest, most circular argument I've ever heard. I really loved all your reiterations on the same point, like 85 times. Yeah.
I want to be able to share with others empirical data that proves the Earth is not what we've been told.
Empirical data, man, I am gonna go ahead and check to see what the data looks like for flat earthers, because I don't empirical data. That's really interesting. Like, I don't know what data they could have to offer, but like, okay.
So when I was 12 years old, I went to space camp, and I met Alan B. Shepard.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and I wanted to be an astronaut, and I wanted to be the first woman to walk the moon.
Oh.
So for me, I'm a glober. I went into this completely wanting it to be true. And my husband told me, he saw this thing about the fake moon landing. And I was like, you're absolutely crazy. There's no way that the moon landings are fake. And then in 2010, my husband was killed. And so I never really developed that until around 2014 when Flat Earth kind of came back up. And that, and
Okay, so she's just trying to make her husband's, like, memory propagate through stupidity. Very, okay. My husband died, so, you know, I decided to not learn. I don't know how to do math anymore, so, yeah.
that little voice inside my head said, remember the fake moon landings? Remember when that was brought to my attention? And then I started really critically analyzing that. And I would say, you know, just looking at that evidence, if they can lie about the moon landings, they can certainly lie about pictures and satellites and other things. And so I started going down that rabbit hole of studying. So that was my influence. From
Studying.
It take to make a liar, right?
And being ridiculed for being inquisitive is pretty tough on us. I wouldn't say that I've changed my mind because my mind isn't set. NASA is solely designed to change my mind. It is, from its inception, from its discovery, has been a television program. It's been a space program to sell us on something that they've yet to actually show us.
I'm
Show
loving
me
the satirical,
globe spinning with clouds.
I'm enjoying this, like, counter persona that you're making, Solaire. I think it's it's really prepping me for what's to come. Also, for the 85th time, I'm just gonna go grab a blankie so I can get all cuddled up. 1 sec.
And a moon, show me home, and I think I could shut up easily. I think I could shut up.
The timing of your conversions is interesting to me. 20 years ago, the flat earth world was tiny and insignificant. Enter the advent of the internet, YouTube, online discussion groups, all these new available places where you could find information about everything.
This is true that the evidence as you looked.
What? No, I'm sorry, Bones. I'm literally. What? I'm really curious to see what do flat earthers have to say about, like, how satellites work. That's gonna be interesting, but yeah.
We're not robust evidence.
Then how do we have photos of our planet then? Like, is it like, do they not believe that, like, let's say when you go. Okay, no, but that doesn't make sense, because let's say if you want to get directions to get to point A to point B, that's being done via satellite. How do they think GPS works if satellites don't exist? Like, I understand, like, the whole Photoshop thing, but I need to understand how is GPS working. Oh.
And the sources you used, they were not reliable sources again. But my problem is that, and I like you guys that you are very skeptical, but at the same time, you are not skeptical about your belief system.
You
That
keep
should
going
have come
back.
first.
You think that that's my foundation for why I believe the Earth is flat, and I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Okay.
I have evidence that proves it's flat.
What type
or
of
proves
evidence,
it's not
you
a ball.
Okay.
type of
Yeah, I'll
We're
check
being
it.
misled. We're being deliberately misled by mainstream
Now,
media.
what's your evidence? You're
We see
thinking?
too far. We see too far. We should not be able to see. I live in Dana Point.
Okay,
I can see San Clemente Island, which is 60 miles away.
so what?
What do you mean, so what?
No, I'm
It's
on the
1,100
beach. I'm
feet
on the
tall.
beach.
It is
What do you mean by
tall.
so what?
I'm on the
But-
beach.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Can you see a ship which is going?
We're
Oh
not
yeah,
talking
let's talk
that.
about the ship that goes
Yes.
over the curve.
Honestly, yeah, it just literally just looks like the white equivalent of, like, my parents sitting in a room. Fucking hell. All photos of curvature are only because the fish. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming, Bones, and thanks for sticking through whatever this is. Fucking hell. This is great, honestly.
Curvature of the Earth. I love it. So science has said that when I see a ship go out of my field of view, it's going over the curvature of the Earth, correct?
Yes.
But then I bring my P900 up, and guess what? I can zoom it back in.
Not
So
all
is
of
it going over the curvature of the Earth or not?
Absolutely.
Oh, not all the
No, you
time?
can't.
Not
No,
all the
no,
time?
no, you don't see all the ship. The bottom part of the ship is hidden by the
At that
curvature.
distance, you shouldn't see the top
At
of it
all.
either.
If the Earth were truly flat, there would be
What? Okay, I mean, cheers, lads. Okay.
really hardly any limit. You'd be able to stand at the top of the Empire State Building and look towards Chicago, a mere 1,000 miles away, and see the lights of Chicago at night.
No,
Why wouldn't
no, because you have an atmospheric disturbance.
Very thick.
I've been
water
into
alone.
astronomy since I was 10.
It's faulty logic. It's completely faulty logic.
Let's reset, and then I have a more interesting.
Okay.
One of the big things I do is investigate extraordinary claims like flat earther.
Honestly, that like that is probably the broadest fucking thing I've ever heard. Atmospheric disturbance. You know? Nice.
Or ESP or all sorts of different things. The Earth is undoubtedly a globe and not flat. This is well supported by gobs of science.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Scientific consensus is possible.
What is the question?
I don't understand.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Possible. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible. I've got a tremendous issue with consensus and peer review. I've been spending a lot of time arguing with
I'm
people
sorry.
that argue the others.
What? What do you mean you have a problem with peer review? How do you expect... Oh, okay. That's fine.
Side. And I found that surprisingly, consensus always wins. It was shocking to me that the group with the majority has an incredible advantage. As scientists, flat earthers, truthers, punks, we're at an incredible disadvantage.
Let's talk about scientific consensus for a second. You're never going to get 100% of anyone. There is scientific consensus on a global Earth. There's scientific consensus on evolution. A lot of big
They
issues.
use the word theory.
Do you know what a
That's not science. That's not scientific consensus. My girlfriend's sister. What? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't say. Okay, so you know how sometimes when you're watching the news and they're like, it's a fucking slow news week, so let's go ahead and do a segment on, you know, the community college down the street has now said that, like, drinking red wine reduces chances of cancer. Okay, like, I understand, like, that type of stuff, like, I wouldn't go for. Like, that's literally, like, a piss kid, like me, that's doing their fucking thesis. And just, yeah, like, cool. It's not peer-reviewed. So I would say, like, I don't believe every piece of research that comes out. But, nani? What do you mean that you don't believe, like, any scientific research like that? Okay, cool. Like, eat shit then. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Also, yeah, I would love to hear, like, how flat earthers do go ahead and justify things like seasons, since obviously that requires a tilt, and I understand you could technically say that we have, like, a flat that's, like, tilted this way, but, like, okay, how would it exactly go about tilting back this way? How does, like, our day start and, like, end? like, why is it nighttime at this point in the day, and then why is it daytime? Okay, sure, you believe in, like, the fact that the Earth can spin. Okay, that's cool. So then how come when we see, like, full moons and stuff? Yeah, anyways. It's not a panel. It's a one-on-one, which is even better. I can't wait. It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be amazing. It's amazing. I love it. So, I'm gonna have a one-on-one debate with a flat earther. So, very nice, my wife.
Theory and science is an extremely...
And a fact
Let
is
me-
a fact.
Don't mistake this word theory.
You are.
In
not me.
science, it's not conjecture, it's not...
It's an explanation. Is by
It's
definition, it's an explanation.
well-supported
It's a deep...
Well, let's talk
So this
about a
is
fact.
something
Show me a
people
fact
made
then.
a mistake.
Why
They
aren't
think
all
theory
facts
is-
theories?
In science, the word theory is the highest level that you can give something because it's so well supported.
What about a fact?
That is a fact. It's
not a
but
fact you would call it a
You know
fact.
why? Do you know why? Because in science, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to find better,
I mean,
to
it's
tweak
not
and find
true.
better information.
We
So
do
that is
have
how science
laws in
works.
science,
It
but
gets
like,
better refined over time, as
it's
opposed
fine.
to flat earth theory, which never gets refined. It simply is what it is.
New ideas have limited access to media and limited exposure. Until we're in university curriculums, we will
yeah,
continue
no,
to
no, no.
appear
Just
uneducated.
he said
Oh,
that.
that's not true. In the history of science, we have
Yeah,
many
no, no, no. I mean, he was
occasions
just saying that
the
like
ideas
theories are the highest order. And,
was
like,
not
well,
welcomed
we also
by
have
the
laws, but
society.
yeah.
Einstein was one of them.
Galileo.
Galileo was one of them. But if your theory is an authentic one, and it can be go through this hardship of scientific method, eventually will win.
I used to believe that science was after the truth.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
We all just want to know what the truth is. Science has been trying so hard to divorce itself from the idea of a creator when God's intent was to create science to lead you to him. You know, sometimes things seem supernatural
Please kill me.
that we are able to explain later through, science. Okay, I understand. But there are other things as well that are supernatural, that go beyond the natural, that we can only explain through believing
Who
in a
wants my
creator,
address? Please
right?
just fucking
This is
kill
my
me.
big issue with science, scientific approach and non-scientific approach. You are absolutely right. In science, we are after the truth. And we are hoping by each day we're getting closer and closer to the truth. We never get there. Never.
Well, I
That's-
know that's true for you. And
No, that's a science. That's you guys. You think you do have the truth. Now let's look
They
at
drank the Kool-Aid.
evidences.
what
As
do you
were mentioning.
expect?
You do
People
have the
stay
conclusion.
drinking Kool-Aid.
Let's
That's
find
what
the
happened.
evidences. Science doesn't work that way.
That's not
Well,
true.
that's not what
That
we-
is not
Well,
true.
you are
matter of
saying
fact,
No.
you are referring to Jesus, who many billions of people do not believe, including myself.
And many more billions do.
So what?
So who's right?
Of course, I can.
So the
When you say that we start with conclusion and then
Okay.
try to match everything to make it work, like that to me is complete dishonesty. That is not true at all.
That is what you are doing
No,
right
you're
now.
not. You're making that assumption,
No,
which
it's
I
not
think
my
science does a
assumption.
lot of.
Well,
So do you
I-
make
I'm-
assumptions or
I'm-
not? Does science make
don't know.
assumptions? Does science
No,
make
let me-
assumptions?
Yeah,
Of
we
course.
sure.
Okay.
We do
course.
make assumptions
But-
based on things that are well supported and
Bias.
proven.
I'm adding
and
Chad in
reproven.
so that
We
if I
don't
post
have
this
Show
on
me how you
YouTube, I can actually
isolate
use the
gravity.
bar.
If gravity
We
is
don't
an
have to-
assumption, you show me in the scientific method how you isolate gravity.
we've done that actually. Yeah, sure.
Damn! They had to take a fucking recess! Nice. Nice. I mean, honestly, I'd have to. I don't. What does isolating gravity mean? What does isolating gravity mean? Ooh. What does isolating gravity mean? I mean, she used a really cool word, so she must be right. You're right. I'm sorry. Beta. I'm the beta, obviously.
You're like a little round Mars candy.
I'm not equipped to drink fluids. I literally just spilled tea on myself. Okay.
I kind of feel like I want to develop some of this stuff a little bit more. It feels high level, but I feel like there's so much that I haven't really even touched base on.
Well, I mean, I certainly didn't think that anybody was on either side was going to flip.
Well, there's still time.
There's still time. I have hope for you, Wendell, and Shelley. I don't know about Dan. I have hope for you too. But
Honestly, I don't think the
you know,
person I'm arguing
certainly, I'm
with
glad it's a
has
civil
any
discussion.
religious parts that they're bringing in, so I'm just very curious. I can't wait till I go over what they did.
Wendell, welcome aboard. The greatest moment in television history right there.
All right. NASA is trustworthy.
Okay. Dude, she literally looked like she just
I mean,
NPC'd
obviously any
the fuck out.
organization can be wrong with certain things, and they may have individuals that
Honestly, this is genuinely
lie or
making me
deceive or
personally
something, but as
frustrated.
a general organization,
Oh shit.
they're looking for the truth.
Yeah, the
Wow,
idea
thank you,
that
NPC,
NASA
for the
and
host.
the government is lying to us about the shape of the Earth is the height of conspiracy theories. In order for this to be true, the literally hundreds of thousands of people who at some point over the last 50 or 60 years.
Well, look, honestly, like, I'm very curious to see, like, the different things in which they say, okay, so where's the center of gravity? Gravity must be real. Like, if we're starting off with, like, gravity doesn't exist, like, I don't know what to do with that. Also, yeah, like, that doesn't make very much sense. I honestly, you know what? I'm going to save any possible retorts for when I see what some of his arguments are, because I don't want to get in the mind of these people. I don't, you know, I don't.
Had to be somewhat complicit in this, and nobody spills the beans at all, is on the face of it completely unbelievable.
The private does not know what the general is doing. There's compartmentalization happening.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense. If it's not constant velocity, if it's accelerating constantly upwards, then you would actually feel a force. Okay. Oh, okay. And that's the force that's causing gravity. Okay, fine. Whatever. Yeah.
All the time.
Of course.
So it wouldn't be that far-fetched. Has the government ever lied
Yup.
to us is really the question at stake.
We all agree on that.
Yeah, but now we
Common ground.
Now we have NASA.gov, right? And absolutely, they're not lying about anything. They're completely transparent. Everything is true.
It's open source.
It's foolish to
there's
think
a
that's
difference
true.
here. I'm sorry, this is a fallacy here. There's a
Not
difference.
Honestly, you know,
I'm sure
a fun thing is that so for my team who builds rockets, we actually use NASA data to be able to build the rockets. As a function of us using NASA's data, we get first place in competitions because the rocket actually is able to work because we have all these things. You know what I'm gonna do? For fun. For real fun. I think I'm gonna see if he's available, but I might go ahead and have an interview tomorrow right before the All Black Everything debate with the person that's in charge of the data analysis for figuring out where is, if our rocket were to explode, where would everything land? Because clearly, if it was as easy as it just goes kaboom, and you just have to figure out what the spread is, not using any equations, literally just kind of expecting that everything falls like at a very specific rate because of gravity in these other situations, then his life should be super easy, right? Because he doesn't need to account for curvature and all these other things that are definitely issues. You know, the only thing that he really has to account for is wind and gravity. So, you know, he should have been done with his work, like, within minutes. So, yeah. I'm gonna see if he's free. Because if he is, It's over for you hoes. It's over for you hoes. It's over for you hoes. Okay, let's see.
Go
See,
ahead.
you were talking about a government. Now you're talking about an agency of the
NASA.gov.
government. But this agency is scrutinized by thousands.
You don't really get to assume that the Earth is flat in rocketry when you're thinking about the radius of which your stuff might go ahead and potentially explode. And since it's already traveling upwards at a rate of something like, I don't know, last time it was like faster than the speed of sound. You also have to think about things like, how much fuel is left. So thus, like, how much of an explosion is going to go ahead and occur. And then due to the explosion, how much, what will be the initial impulse of, force that's being put across all these different pieces. And then from there, you can go ahead and, the impulse equation, Ft equals mv. Which is, the force over a certain amount of time is equal to the change in momentum. So initially, all of its momentum was just going upwards, but now let's say you go ahead and have an explosion that's something in like the kilonewtons, and the explosion is taking place over the course of, I don't know, like 3 milliseconds. Well, now we have a shrapnel with a mass of 3 grams. What's the velocity going to be? Tangentially to what the surface of the rocket is. So now you have to think about what's going to be the radius of which all these different pieces may potentially fly out. It also depends on how far up in your projectile did this happen. If it happened within the first couple of seconds of it taking off, then the radius is going to be a lot smaller, and you might not need to have to think about the curvature of the Earth. But once you get to let's say if it doesn't explode until it gets to the barrier between Earth and space, which is 100 kilometers. I think it's 100 kilometers. Let me just double check because I don't want to. I don't like to lie about things. So that's how you know I'm gonna be real honest. Okay, yes, it's 100 kilometers. Yeah. No, it's 62 miles, 100 kilometers. So let's say if your explosion of your rocket doesn't take place until 100 kilometers, well, now you have this horizontal velocity going ahead and spreading it out at this, let's say, something like 100 meters per second. But it has so much more time until it falls down. Let's say if we don't account for things like wind and drag and all that stuff. It has the potential to continue falling for something like, I don't know, 50 seconds. I'm literally just, yeah, exactly. I'm throwing out figures here. So now we're getting at the point where we actually do have to account for curvature because, we go ahead and most people launch their rockets at something at this place called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. There's nothing around this area for about an hour worth of driving, so 50 miles in all directions. But if you have an explosion that's intense enough, there is a chance that you may have to go ahead and actually consider that, hey, this might end up in Arizona. But obviously now you have to start thinking about things like the curvature of the Earth. Because, initially that wasn't really something, that we had to take into account. Also, Blade, I don't know how you got here, but this isn't even leftism. I'm really not sure. Honestly, I think a lot of these guys, I'm not sure where their head is at. Honestly, it's really interesting to me to just kind of see, how does somebody exactly become a flat earther? What exactly, what type of scientific literacy do we need to have to go ahead and believe these things? And what can we do Dude, this is a science stream. I don't know why you're talking about leftism. We're literally talking about equations. But I'm not gonna really like have an argument with you. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Let's go ahead and continue. But hey, happy I got to explain a little bit of how curvature of the Earth actually comes into account for rocketry. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and send a message over to this person, like right now, so that we can see if we can get him on tomorrow, right before Prime's debate panel, because I think that it would be really interesting to go ahead and have a little bit more of this context behind how exactly does rocketry work and how does like the curvature come in. Honestly, I might go ahead and post this on YouTube. Those were some super hot bars. I don't know about y'all. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Let's go.
And thousands of scientists around the globe. You are dealing with smart people, believe me. You are dealing with smart people.
I don't deny that.
So it is very hard to do that. Once or twice, maybe. Not for the all time.
Raise your hand if you think we went to the moon.
What is the proof? Hundreds and hundreds of pounds of moon rocks and dust. And we have distributed those freely to PhD scientists around the world. And not one of those geologists have said, what is this?
Been proven to be fake.
And also and collected on the ice in Antarctica and in the Arctic as well. Those are collected. You don't have to go to the moon to get moon rocks. As a matter of fact, all U.S. Air Force
I'm actually
photography
messaging the person
prior
right
to
now.
1958 shows a flat Earth. Only NASA shows
That's
a
not
sphere.
true. That is absolutely not true.
Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
The other bit of proof
Not myself.
is we have a laser retroreflector on the moon.
Yeah.
That we're using now.
We still use to this day.
It's sitting there.
You can find to the inch how far away the moon
No
is.
pictures of home.
That only is there. By the
No,
way,
there are not.
My question to you is, why? Why would all these honest, hardworking people perpetuate this massive fraud? Why would they do this?
What's the benefit of doing
Okay,
that?
the benefit
Honestly.
of it, they make $52 million a day. Follow the money.
No, the little
Follow
guy.
the money.
The little guy.
That's what, then when you say all, okay,
But it didn't start out that way. And NASA was not
I'm
founded
sorry,
to
bitch,
prove
what?
the Earth was a globe. It had nothing to do with the way they were founded.
well, if you go and study
Are you
the
sure?
Yeah, positive.
Really?
Yes.
Follow the money, guys.
Somebody has to be a voice for reason, and somebody has to be a voice for truth.
Guys, you don't understand. Like, if they came out and said the Earth was flat, like, then the government wouldn't give them money anymore. Because somehow, you know, the Earth being flat would entirely change the fact that all of their things that they've done so far, such as rockets, actually operate. So, yeah, like, follow the money. It's like the Murdoch scandal, but worse. Okay.
It would be a fantasy to believe that I would change anybody's mind from the other three. However, if there's somebody sitting on the fence, and this is the first introduction to this debate, perhaps they'll hear the reasonable voice and say, yeah, that makes more sense than having this pizza-shaped Earth.
I can put myself in the mindset of the other side.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to be a ball earther. Everything you say right now is completely.
good night,
what I
Isaac
used
Chris.
to agree
I
to.
hope that you get to be there
So
for the
I
debate.
completely understand where
Make
you're
sure you
coming
drink
from.
coffee on
For me, I
Friday
think
night, because it's going to be
the correct
wild.
way to do any kind of investigation or to examine things is by literally putting yourself in that
Don't
mindset
worry,
of
I'll
the
post
other
the
person.
VOD on
So
YouTube.
I do that. I disagree with your position, but I completely understand from your perspective what you're saying.
The trouble I have understanding your perspective is
Honestly, I think humans, I don't want to like get into this philosophical thing, but I think humans are like just kind of lost right now. I think we're all like, industrialization has really isolated communities, and some people for some reason require community more than others. For me, COVID has been the best time of my life. I don't have to see anyone. It's amazing. But for some people, they can't really survive with it, so they're really looking for community in all the wrong places. Which I guess, yeah, I mean, good luck to you. Um, it's unfortunate, but hey, what can I do?
In the modern world, unless you live in a cave somewhere, you have to believe in science implicitly.
I think some people are
I'm
just
at a
scientifically illiterate. Honestly, I know I won't be able to fix it single-handedly, but I really want to go ahead and somehow make an impact in the scientific literacy of our community, because I think it's just a little bit abhorrent how much people are able to be scientifically illiterate. I don't think there's any other type of field in which people can be so objectively incorrect and believe it so much. Whereas for some reason with science, woo-wee, people can just really like espouse some of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And it's definitely, it's not good. I think it's not harmful, like relatively, like considering that there's things like anti-vaxxers who actually cause real harm in terms of things like, you know, making our population so much more susceptible to getting diseases due to them not participating in the immunity stats. So I think yeah, that's definitely a lot worse. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a pipeline, and it doesn't mean that we should just go ahead and like let scientific illiteracy propagate as long as it's not particularly harmful, because that just kind of leaves it up into it could become harmful at some point, and we didn't do anything about it. Education be bad. Continue.
Earth, or a young woman who said, I don't trust anything that science does. And that's a problem, because human beings can't replicate the whole body of science every single generation. At some point, you have to trust what's already been discovered and proven and move on to the next thing. Otherwise, we're not going to advance at all. I mean, when you turn that key, ignition.
So there's always argument to be had that like science is changing. So who's to say that it's necessarily like super, who's to say that it's necessarily true what we're holding right now, which is a very legit claim to go ahead and say. But with that, I don't think that within our generation, we found things to be abhorrently incorrect. I think we're constantly making little tweaks to things, you know? So, like, string theory came about because we were trying to understand, what were you trying to understand? We were trying to understand some nuclear reactions, right? So, up until, let's say, like, 1960 something, we did have a model in which was able to go ahead and cover everything. But, you know, let's say if kids asked, oh, so how come, like, these certain strong nuclear forces exist, people wouldn't necessarily be able to answer you. So, yeah, science changed between this generation to this one. But we don't really have these types of, we don't have changes that are, like, fucking crazy. Like, oh shit, everything that we've ever believed is incorrect, and we're gonna have to change everything. Because if, let's say, the earth was flat, there's so many things that would change. It wouldn't just be, okay, the earth is flat. Okay, well, that's cool. A lot of things that we would already have in place right now fundamentally wouldn't continue working with this flat earth assumption. I guess some of the whole thing is that, you know, the government obviously tells the people that need to know that the earth is flat, so that they're able to build things. But I guess it just wouldn't make very much sense. Considering that, like, all of us get degrees with this assumption that the earth is round, and how exactly would you go ahead and tell an aerospace engineer, LOL, actually everything that you learned is wrong, get ready for the big guns, son, you're redoing your degree, like, right now, because now you work for Boeing, like, I don't know, okay.
And in your car, you expect the car to start out.
And not blow up.
And not blow up, because science puts you in that position. So it's really hard to understand how people would know in their hearts that science achieves wonderful things and then just jumping ship when it comes to this.
No, but she told you what the benefit is. Follow the money. It's the money,
other
man.
issue.
We're
Just
not
follow
drawing
it.
conclusions. We understand the mechanisms that made that car work. There is no theories and no disputed conclusions involved there. It's not a good analogy. Can I admit a great compromise that we have to experience being against the grain people? Is we have to literally sit in a group and decide whether or not we can afford to have an opinion, and that's tough.
I actually agree with you there.
Being a flat earther is really hard because I have to figure out whether or not I'm allowed to say it. Okay, dude. Like, honestly, your flat earth theories are not going to be... No, everyone's just going to call you a fucking idiot. No one's going to do anything about it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and actually, like, really panic about... Like, it's not like it makes me, like, stress or anything, but do you really think that, like, the trials and tribulations that flat earthers face in society is any harder than being, like, a Marxist in America? Like, I don't, but Marxists will still tell you that they're Marxist in the States. Like, at least now that it's not the 50s and we don't have, the McCartney, the guy, I don't know what his last name is, the guy. Now that we don't have those trials going on, no one needs to hide anything like that. Like, no one's gonna do anything to you. They're just gonna think you're stupid. Yes, McCarthy. Thank you. I said McCartney, didn't I? I hate myself. Let's go.
Because we're the same thing. I mean, I think skeptics go through this and atheists go through this. I don't believe in God. When I'm around religious people,
exactly,
I take a chance socially when I tell
them who gives
I'm
a
an atheist.
fuck?
So I know it takes some courage to.
I don't know
follow
why
your
he's
beliefs, and I
really trying to
appreciate
get
that.
to, like,
But I
this
think
level,
I've done a lot of research in that venue too, and it's not something I choose to believe in. It's something I have to believe in based on the evidence.
See, what I get from you guys is that seeing is believing. So how come you believe in God or Jesus? You haven't seen neither of them.
Damn.
I've seen evidence, though.
Well, exactly. So we are looking for evidence. There are many other evidences for Earth not being flat. My point is that these experiments clearly show that the Earth is globe. And you don't need to go outside the globe to see it's globe.
It's a
You
theoretical...
told me you want the evidence. If you're saying that you look only to see something, then I dispute your belief system in God and Jesus
What is
or
the shining
Jehovah
path
or
and
Buddha or
why is
Zarathustra
it?
or
It's
any
a
of
better
it.
question.
Going back to religion as being
Because
our
it's coming
conclusion.
from there.
No,
You think you do
no,
have
no.
the
I
truth.
have evidence. I have evidence.
You
from
quoted
what I
at the
know.
beginning
She
of
pointed out
this.
physics.
You
I
quoted
agree.
Bible.
Of
That's
course
the
I did,
reason.
but that is not the only reason I know what the shape of the Earth is, and you keep, that's fallacy.
It's not fallacy.
It is a
Actually,
fallacy.
it is not fallacy.
It is a fallacy.
I'm a theoretical physicist. What I'm doing is the combination of string theory and cosmology. So we try to understand what happened during the Big Bang, after the Big Bang, or even before the Big Bang.
What are you hoping to get from the discussion today?
Well, I hope I would be able, particularly to the young generation, to convince them that first, they should think critically and don't believe anything. They shouldn't take anything for granted. Look at the evidences.
I mean, honestly, I think that's a bit of a... Hold on. I'm very curious. Correct way to deal with flat earthers is... Yeah, honestly, let's just go into the debate on Friday. Oh, you're a flat earther? Okay, so, like, what do you think about the last season of Game of Thrones? That would be pretty funny. Yeah, this is pretty wild. Let's just get through this and then let's read up on this guy's comments and then, like, I'll probably go take a fucking nap because this is wild.
And throw away those claims that are not evidence-based.
Science, not to put it down, but when you're talking about rocket science, this is very difficult for the majority of people to understand, and it's
What?
designed that way.
Okay.
And so,
Oh,
in
I
a
would
lot
love
of
to hear what
ways,
she has to say.
hiding behind rocket science is similar to religion.
No
If you
one's
look at the
fucking
Catholic
hiding
Church
behind
back
rocket
in the days,
science.
only we can interpret the Bible. You have to listen to what we say. So in a lot of ways, we're getting that same notion from science that says, only we can interpret what these numbers are. You just need to trust us. But then when we actually do go and test some of their equations and they don't work, does that beg the question for us to go and test it ourselves? Absolutely.
I would say,
It means you don't know how to
one
use the
great
fucking
thing about
equations.
science is its predictability.
If you don't understand an equation and you just plug in stuff into it, like, you don't know exactly where you might have gone wrong. You know, like, sometimes I'll go ahead, I'll do an assignment, and I'll say, this number is clearly wrong, and I know it is wrong, and I just need to figure out what exactly is going wrong here. Yeah, rocket science, honestly, I don't know why rocket science is, like, the beacon of crazy stuff. Like, it's not. As someone that works with rockets, they're not that fucking special. They just go up and down. Like, it's a fucking tube. It's literally just a tube. Oh my god, I hope that doesn't get clipped. It's just a tube! Yeah, rocket science isn't that crazy, but I love it.
Let's for some moment, for a short moment, assume that your model, this flat Earth model, is correct. I don't know, what does it buy for us? What does it predict for us? So my question for you guys would be, next time, bring me something from your theory, your model, that you can predict something which the globe Earth model cannot predict. Then I would change my mind.
I would just say that don't believe anything that I've said. You got to do your own research.
Good.
And I think what
No
you'll
one
find
was
is that
slow.
you'll see that a puzzle piece doesn't fit. And the only way you're going to do that is if you put your own eyeballs on it.
I don't blame people for being skeptical. I'm skeptical about a lot of different things. I applaud that instinct in you. But you have to go beyond just not believing in something. Ask the hard questions. Ask what qualifies a YouTuber, a book author, anywhere else you're getting this information. What qualifies them to make wide-ranging comments about the shape of the Earth? Look, anybody who can overturn Einstein or some major theory is going to be eventually written in the halls of science for the rest of their lives. But they have to come up with the goods. They have to show good science-based evidence that what they say is true, and they have to withstand the test of time and peer review and the rigors of the scientific method.
All
Thanks,
right.
Jim.
Thank you. I'm all sweaty.
Ollie, it was nice to meet you.
I'll get a hug too.
Almost neighbor.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Honestly, I'm surprised that they're hugging. I would not have.